In our last exercise, we looked at how we edit feature line geometry. In this exercise, we're going to focus not on the horizontal, but the feature line elevations, and how do we work with and edit the elevations of a feature line. So our exercise 1205, feature line elevation edit. We have the same feature line we had in the past with the different points already added in. We're going to focus in on the Edit Elevations panel. Now, we can always open the Elevation Editor. The Elevation Editor opens the Panorama palette and provides a tabular view of all the different elevations to work from. The great thing is, as we select the different points and select them in the table, they also show up in the graphic space. So we know which point we're actually working in by simply picking and looking at the space. We see the triangle there for our grip. We can do a lot of different things in the Elevation Editor. Many of these also we can do here in the Edit Elevations panel. There's some great tools. Let's look at being able to insert elevation points. You can always insert an elevation point at any segment. You can even increment them. Also, if you forget to add the elevations from a surface when you created the feature line, you can always add them after the fact as well. Let's do that. We're going to click Elevations from Surface. It asks us which surface, as well as the intermediate grade break points. We're going to check that and click OK. Now here's a powerful feature that we don't have when we first created the feature line. Do you want to add elevations from the surface for the entire feature line, or just a part of the feature line? We're going to choose partial. It says to select the object and then the start point. And so we don't actually even have to have our object snaps on. Using the previews and the specific highlighted point, just pick. And we'll use this as a start point. It says to specify the end point. We'll use this as our end point. And it added all of these elevation points for us, all these grade breaks from the surface. So I press enter to end the command, and now we have all these elevation points. Again, as we saw with Edit Geometry, in the Edit Elevations panel, there is an array of tools, and we're not going to be able to cover them all, but make sure that as you begin working with feature lines, you walk through and understand what each tool does and how you intend to use it. One of my favorite tools is the Quick Elevation Edit. It allows you to float over and graphically see what the information is for the feature line, such as the elevation of any points and the grades of any segments. Now at any point you can pick, and it will give you the ability to make adjustments depending on whether you selected a point or whether you selected a segment. A great way to edit the elevations in a quick graphical way. Another tool I use a lot is the Set Grade Slope Between Points. And so let's do that. We're going to pick this, and what it does, it allows us to pick a start point, an end point, and it will set the grade as a consistent grade between all the points in between. And so if I select this start point, I could change the elevation, or I'll just leave the elevation as it is and press enter. We find the end point here, and I specify the end point. It says currently the elevation, as you see in the command line, the elevation is 735.27. And so the distance between those 2 points that you picked, start and end, is 63.73. That means the current grade, if I set them all consistent, is 2.58. That's great, because the grade could have been -4 here and then +10 here, or something similar. And so what we're doing is we're creating a consistent grade between a certain amount of points. I just press enter. And so it doesn't seem like anything happened, and really we didn't change the start elevation or the end elevation here, but we did change the elevation for this point here, so as to set a consistent grade between points.